What if the most dangerous part of failure isn't the failure itself? It's the quiet moment afterward, the moment your brain slowly lowers what it believes you deserve. Not dramatically, not loudly, just enough. That next time you don't reach quite as high. And eventually, without realizing it, you stop reaching at all. Think about a child trying to grab something from a high shelf. The first time they jump, they miss. The second time, they miss again. But by the third or fourth attempt, something subtle begins to change. They don't jump quite as high. And by the fifth time, they stop jumping entirely. Not because the shelf became higher, but because their mind quietly decided, maybe that shelf was never meant for me. This small psychological shift is one of the most powerful forces shaping human lives, and most people never notice when it happens. Your brain is constantly predicting the future. It does this to protect you. Every experience becomes data. Every outcome becomes a lesson. So when something important fails, a relationship ends, a dream collapses, a risk embarrasses you, your brain begins quietly adjusting its expectations. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. When repeated disappointment teaches the mind a dangerous equation, effort doesn't change the outcome. And once the brain believes this, something subtle begins to shift. You still want the same life, but internally, you start expecting less from it. Ironically, the brain isn't trying to destroy your dreams. It's trying to protect you from the pain of having them. Carl Jung believed much of human behavior is shaped by the parts of ourselves we hide away. Not because they disappear, but because we decide the world doesn't want them. The ambitious part of you, the hopeful part, the creative part that once believed anything was possible. Those parts don't die, they simply retreat into the psychological shadows, and slowly, without realizing it, you begin living a smaller version of the life you once imagined, not out of laziness, not out of weakness, but out of quiet self-protection. And the strange thing is, your brain thinks it's helping you. From a neurological perspective, emotional rejection activates many of the same brain circuits as physical pain. To your nervous system, failure is not just disappointment, it's danger. So your mind adapts. It lowers the emotional stakes of future attempts. You hesitate more. You risk less. You begin calling it being realistic or being mature. But sometimes, what feels like wisdom is simply disappointment wearing a disguise. The Stoic philosophers noticed something similar about the human mind. They believe suffering often comes not from events themselves, but from the meaning we attach to them afterward. After failure, the mind writes a quiet story. This proves I'm not capable. People like me don't succeed. It's better not to expect too much. And once that story takes root, your behavior slowly follows it. You apply for fewer opportunities. You settle for smaller possibilities. You stop chasing the version of life that once excited you, because the world closed its doors, but because your mind quietly closed them first. And the most unsettling part is that this process happens so gradually you rarely notice it. People don't usually wake up one day and decide to give up on their dreams. Instead, their expectations slowly shrink until the life they once imagined begins to feel unrealistic. But here's the strange paradox. Your brain lowering expectations isn't weakness, it's survival. The mind is trying to protect you from repeating pain. But survival mechanisms can become invisible prisons, because the same system designed to protect you from disappointment can also quietly remove the courage required to try again. And the brain learns from patterns. Just as repeated failure can shrink expectations, repeated courage can expand them again. Small risks, small attempts, small acts of believing something might still work. Each one sends a new signal to your mind. Failure was an event, not a definition. Carl Jung believed growth often begins in the very places we tried to hide from ourselves, and sometimes the parts of you that withdrew after failure are simply waiting to be invited back. Your brain will always try to protect you. It will whisper that expecting less is safer, and sometimes it is. But a life built entirely on lowered expectations becomes smaller than it needed to be. So the real question isn't whether you'll fail again. You will, everyone does. The real question is this: when your mind quietly lowers the ceiling of what's possible, will you notice? And will you choose to raise it again? I'm curious about something. After a major failure in your life, did your expectations quietly shrink afterward? Or did you fight to keep them the same? Let me know in the comments.